Hey everyone. Okay, episode 3 of Marie Kondo's show. I watched it at lunchtime with Vanessa, one of our CHOs, and planned to make this video all day and then just never got a chance to. And then tonight I wanted to watch the 4th episode, but got to spend some great time with my husband, and we have been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is a great comedy and just something that helps us sort of escape stress of life. And we were like, let's just laugh tonight. So I only got to watch episode 3. However, here are my thoughts. So this is a family with an 11 and a 12-year-old. The girl is 11, the boy is 12. Hi, Becky. And their name, I believe, is the Mercedes or Mercedes. I believe maybe Mercedes. Hey, Kate. Okay, so the Mercedes, 11 and 12-year-old kids. Here's my thoughts. This is what I got from it. Okay, so they first interviewed the family, and the mom shared that they had lived in the Midwest and the U.S., and then they moved to L.A., and they were trying to really make it there with the husband in the music industry and her in the hair industry. And she said that their home hasn't felt like home, and they'd lived there for a year and a half. And when you see, they went from the way they described it was a really big home to being in this really small 2-bedroom apartment. And she's just said it hasn't felt like home. We feel stressed at home, and started using the words like scatterbrained and feeling jumbled. I want you to notice if you live in a home that's really cluttered, if you use similar lingo, because like I said before, our language changes as we are in its different environments. If you're in a really clear, not empty space, but a well-organized space, you probably are able to think clearly. So there's a lot less of the I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a fog right now. It really does impact the way we think. So when they were describing themselves as feeling scatterbrained and jumbled and just can't find anything and really struggling with finding kind of their purpose and moving forward and creating a home, it didn't surprise me. Here's the thing. The mom put all this pressure on herself to be the one to create this home. And you could see Marie, the way she was asking questions, it was kind of like, what about everybody else in the family? Like, this is all on you. So you do everything, you organize everything. And the 12-year-old son even said, it's kind of nice to have my mom know where everything is, because then I don't have to think. Like, I can just text her, where's this? And like blow up her phone till she answers to find something versus have to go look for it myself. Oh, that just spoke to me. How often in our lives, in our relationship with our kids, whatever it might be, do we take on other people's work to, quote, simplify it for them, or it's just easier, I know where things are, I know how to do it my way. And then what ends up happening is we create dependence. And that ends up causing a lot of problems. So this mom just felt all this pressure to create in this apartment a house or home feel. I wanted to feel like a home, but it was all on her. So of course, as a couples therapist, I'm like, where's the husband in this? What is his thoughts? Why isn't he involved? So as we continue on, they talked about when they moved, and I just thought, wow, the impact of that move. You go from this home to an apartment, and you're in the Midwest to California. And if you're not from the U.S., it culturally is very different. And so they're having to adjust to all of these things, and there's probably not a whole lot of control in their lives as they're adjusting to all of these things. So what happens? This mom creates this sense of control by knowing where everything is in their home, by understanding how everything works in their home. And so often when those of us who've moved, and you guys know I'm a military brat, so I moved every 2 to 3 years of my life until the 4 years of university. That was the longest I stayed in one place. And I always joke, I moved dorm rooms every year, so I didn't really stay in one place. Then as an adult, I actually stayed in one place I think we stayed in one place for 5 years. That was the longest. But I've never I've never stayed in one place. And the impact of moving on me was I held on to things. I held on to things because I was so afraid if I lost them, I would lose those memories. I would lose a part of myself. And I didn't discover what that was until, as I shared in the last review, until back in October when I needed to clear out my mom's home after she passed, that I was getting rid of things I had left there that was from all of these moves. And I realized, wow, I really thought that these things helped me to understand myself. So I sympathized and empathized with this family, with their struggle of letting go of things. Marie says, "I love mess." I don't know if you watched episode 3. I just thought it was cute. Like, I love mess, and I realized how often we're so frustrated and annoyed, just like in episode 2, that word annoyed with clutter, versus seeing it as I love mess, I love clutter, because it's a potential for change. It's a potential to feel better. It's a potential for clarity. I love her mindset on that. I'm going to start thinking that way. Not just I want to, but I am going to start thinking that way. That clutter isn't a negative thing. It's a potential for something greater. So again, mom does all the organizing, and then she realizes she needs to teach others. She needs to teach the kids how to take care of things for themselves because it sets them up for a better future. She needs to teach her husband how to do that because it's a good role model then for her son and for her daughter. So they start to work together because Marie is really good at saying you can't declutter someone else's items. You really need to respect that that's their space and that's their job. Just like in a home and in a family, we all have roles and we all have things that we need to take care of. That's the same with someone else's clutter. It's their things that they need to take care of. And so because of that, the mom had to step back and no longer have control. And it was pretty powerful to watch. I wrote down when you create a teamwork environment, you make the dream work. I literally say this to my kids. They're 2 and 4.5. And I'm like, teamwork makes the dream work. And I know that when they're like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that phrase is going to be said because I'm going to keep putting it in their heads that we must work together to make this happen. Our home, cleaning up, whatever it might be, just having enjoyment and time together. Teamwork makes the dream work. And that's a big part of family meetings as well. Okay. Yeah, the mom says, I'm not setting them up to win at life. So again, we really model for our children, for our partner, for those around us, how to have a successful life. And if we're not feeling good, that goes back to the emotional and mental clutter that we're dealing with. But when it's also impacted with physical clutter that we then try to control and not allow others to help us, then it becomes like this weight on us and bitterness and frustration. So, okay, let me look and see. Making a place a home should be a goal for everyone in your family. Like I said, the mom was really set that was her job because she had more time in the home. Let's say this, she had more time in the house, but the role of creating a home is all of the family members. It takes all of us to create that. So I think that's an important distinction between the two. Dependence can be created when we try to control everything, which is what I was saying earlier about when the mom knew where everything was, the son was like, well, what do I need to go look for something? I'll just ask her, even if I have to text her repeatedly until she tells me. And I just thought, oh gosh, like that would stress me out. Don't let my kids be that way. They will be, but I'm going to really fight it as much as I can. The wife said that she was always being the make it work maker. It's always about just making it work. And in the Chief Household Officer programs, I always talk about like we're always putting out fires because we're not really stopping and planning with purpose and getting ourselves organized and creating systems. We're just go, 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 go. And that's that same mentality, like I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to get to the next day. And then one day I'll have free time and I'm just going to make it work. So her mentality is so instilled in so many of us that we get so stuck in that pattern of I'm just going to make it work. So I liked that people were starting to take more ownership for their rooms and their spaces and their things. The husband, if you kind of hear his interview with the kids call him out when he's like, oh, well, I used to help out a lot. And they would look at him and be like, you are a liar. I love when kids are that honest, because sometimes as parents, we'd like to look a certain way to other people, like, oh, I've been really great and I'm really helping these. And in our minds, maybe the night before we helped, but kids like to look at the span of everything like, no, you don't help mom. She does all of that stuff. So, but slowly he started to go, okay, I'm going to do these things and I'm going to take more ownership. And I thought that was really powerful. The end goal is to just straighten up every day. Like, that's our end goal when we declutter. We need to declutter our home, create systems that work, so at the end of the day, all we're doing is just straightening up. We have to get into those habits of picking up or cleaning up after ourselves, picking up the items we've just used and putting them back where we got them. The end goal at the end of the day is we just want to straighten up a home. We don't want to have to start from the beginning every day. I liked that mentality that Marie shared, that we need to respect each other when tidying up, just like we respect the spaces of a different home, we respect each other. And at the very end, the interview, after they finish the decluttering, they say, our life is finally coming together. Guys, they decluttered their home, and the words out of their mouth were, our life is finally coming together. So how impactful are living spaces on how we feel about our lives? I got chills. Seriously. Okay. And finally they say, this house is finally a home. And I just thought that was really powerful, that they were able to get to that point where the mom was able to say this is a home. The kids were able to say this is a home, because even the daughter said, I don't feel like this is a home. It's just so cluttered and there's just too many things. So episode 3, though it wasn't as powerful as episode 1 and 2, I think if you really look at it for the struggle that the mom had and what that adjustment must have been like as a family to move from one area to another, where it's culturally quite different, and to then have to figure out how to make it work, in quotes, in that system, and create a home and create a happy life. So episode 3, still powerful, though not as powerful as 1 and 2, but I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to episode 4. It is about, from my understanding of the title, about after loss. So I probably will be emotional watching it and afterwards. So I'll make sure to really write some good notes, because I know I'm not the only one who has experienced loss recently in our group. And so I want to make sure that I really do it justice in giving you guys a good review of it. If you have any thoughts about the 3rd episode or 1st or 2nd, please share below these posts so I can kind of hear your thoughts. And let's see what tomorrow holds. I definitely will not be able to pull off 2 episodes tomorrow. I don't think. You know what? We'll see. We'll see. But no matter what, I will get through the grief one, and then I might need to take some time to just really reflect on how I am experiencing that, because like I shared with you guys, and not only did I have to clear out my mom's home and her clutter and the things that she was challenged by, it made me face the realities of my clutter and where that comes from and what it is that I continue to need to work on in my own mental and emotional clutter that is impacting the physical clutter. So so there's some personal information for you about the things I'm working on. Okay, y'all enjoy. I'm off to bed. Night.